be with you. You know what I'm saying? You are just a cage. You hear me? You are just a you are a physical restraint from us. See, what it is, a woman can be with you and leave you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Her head is gone, bro, but her body is still there laying beside you. That's why you think she's yours, but she's waiting on the physical reality to catch up with the spiritual and the mental reality. See, that's why even though her body is there, you don't have access to it. That's why even though her body is there, you don't have you think, people would think that having access to a person means them being around you. How many people, listen, bro, I got some cold stuff for you. How many beautiful women, how many women are you around on a daily basis? You walk through Walmart, you're around women. You go to work, you're around women. But do that mean you got access to them? Just because you physically around a woman, does that mean you have access to them? Because if you don't have access to this or this, you ain't got access, brother. You just around them. Hence, therefore, a woman can be around you, even in your bed, and still not be here and here. You don't have access. She might forcibly allow you within her after you beg and plead and guilt trip her, but she not there with you, bro.
That particular video was actually a spin off of first video that I did, in which I was kind of talking about the same thing. Um, but I was talking about in regards to the same thing, like a woman is there, but she's not there. But the other video started off saying that I was telling men you should keep your hands off of other men's women. And they might have assumed that I was speaking about somebody else's woman, a married woman, or somebody else's girlfriend. But what I was actually saying in that video was sometimes you could be putting your hand on a woman that says she's yours, but she's emotionally and physically or in another dimension tied to another man. And that's why you'll see signs of it. Does that mean that all the time? No. However, I've been in three different relationships where I've seen when it came to that, and it was lasting like maybe for a month or two. There was somebody already in place, and so the guy responded with, "Well, man, she's still in the house with me. She my woman." And so I had to bust it down to him, like, bro, she could be physically there and not there at all, you know. And so that was kind of my aspect of it. As far as how it gets there, I mean, that's an onion, man, and that depends on the context of the relationship. Me, through my personal experience, um, I've seen where, man, if you got two unhealed people and you got communication barriers and you got immature men and immature women emotionally who don't have the experience of a successful relationship, who hadn't even seen one, uh, we just not equipped. And speaking for myself personally, I just started reading this book, The Superior Man, and it speaks about balancing the masculine and feminine. And me myself, I never knew how to sit with a woman when she's going through her emotional storm. I always retreated because when a woman is going through her emotional storm, especially if you have dissatisfied her or what's the word? You've done something to upset her. It's abrasive, man. And that's why you hear a lot of men speaking out about how tough it is dealing with women because emotionally we hadn't learned how to sit there with women while they are going through their storm. And see, this book teaches about it. Like you got to sit there and be able to tolerate that. And it says wrestle that steer and love your woman through all that hard stuff. But emotionally for men and women don't understand. For a lot of men, we're not that mature, and they don't understand that for us. Like if I say you my woman, you are the other than my mom, you're the greatest woman in my life. So you have a straight connection to my ego. So if I'm not satisfying you, that speaks volume to me about myself. And when you're abrasive, it makes a man retreat. And what happens, like in my situation, is when you're abrasive with me, I retreat. And a woman might perceive my retreating as he doesn't care, but that's not it. It's not that I don't care. No, I love you. But the way you are talking to me is very disrespectful. And I can't respond to the way you're talking to me because I feel like if I respond and I give you what you want, then I feel like I'm teaching you that this is how you speak to me. So, what I do is I retreat. It ain't that I don't want to talk about it, but I don't want you to emasculate me because we hadn't agreed on finances and we hadn't come to we're not equally yoked and we hadn't agreed on it. I don't want you to emasculate me on if I'm not meeting your marks. Like I want to know that I'm not meeting your marks, but don't emasculate me in the process. And so that's why I say emotionally as men, we had to learn how to stand there when a woman is doing it. And women from their side, they had to learn how to contain these tantrums and be able to speak to men in a way that's not abrasive. And that's my take on
I got a quick question for any of the fellas. Um, have you ever seen your mother cry? Like, I mean, like really cry. Maybe your dad did something, bad, or like he messed up really bad. Has anybody seen their mother cry in that kind of instance? See that look and that pain in their look in their face.
I mean, not necessarily with that example, but I've seen her cry.
Have you
it. I haven't
ever?
seen it, but
Have you?
I've experienced the I've heard it in my mom's voice. I hadn't seen it physically.
When you guys noticed that and saw that and bear witness to that for the first time, what was your first thought, inclination, or reaction? Did you sit with her? Did you spend time with her? Did you consult her? Or did you kind of just idle? Like, what were like your first initial kind of gut reaction when you first witnessed that?
Well, I was 10 years old when I seen that when my dad left my mom. I mean, it wasn't really nothing I could do. I just sat beside her on the bed. That's about as much as I can do. I mean, what can I say? I'm 10 years old. I don't know shit. I don't know what to say. I just know my dad was packing a bag and leaving. That's all I know. And so she was in there, crying, upset. I'm just sitting there holding her. That's. But what else could I do at the time?
Yeah, the reason why I bring that up is because I'm trying to kind of tie back into Mario's point. Is sort of your experience, like in a relationship, it's different, but like you first experiencing a woman go through something like that of her own plight, right? And you either know, like knowing how to stay in that kind of space and perhaps either console her, not even saying anything, but just being present in that space. That is a different kind of feeling from those who have gone through that for the first time. To Marlo's point, being in a relationship and going through that storm.
I want to actually. You actually made me think about something, bro. It's crazy. So me growing up, my dad was in a home, and I'm not gonna lie, my mom my mom was abrasive. My dad was pretty much a I ain't gonna say passive guy. He was he wasn't even passive aggressive. He just a quiet guy. And my mom would do this all the time about small things, big things, anything. And he'll maybe explode, nothing crazy. Maybe he'll take 3 or 4 months of that, and he might curse out, nothing, super disrespectful. He'll just get mad and kind of put her in her place, you know. But saying that to say, I'm knowing I got his type of style. Like I don't, and I know I did that with my mom, because my mom approached us the same way she approached my dad. She was abrasive. You got dishes in the sink, she about to come at you. And from that experience, I get agitated with that if I see it in a woman. You know what I'm saying? I can't sit in it because I sat in it growing up. And if it's your mom, you ain't gonna disrespect it. You had to be there. And now when I see it, it's almost like I don't have the temperament for it. And I'm learning that as a man, we have to though. And just like I'm reading this book, like because if we don't sit through it with them, somebody else will sit through it with them. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?